Hello, Aaron Cloutier here, and welcome to part 2 in my 2-part video series where I take you into one of my private lessons where a student of mine and myself talk about all things songwriting. In particular, we address a very common challenge that I see a lot of students face, which is the whole, I've got a riff, but I have no idea what to do with it type of thing. So like I said, this is a part 2 out of a 2-part series, so if you missed part 1, be sure to go back and check that out. That will provide some context and help things make more sense. Enjoy. Okay, so that riff that you wrote, right? This is so cool. So like the riff that you wrote is based on that A major chord. And by nature, like you had this natural inclination to go to that second part in E. So do me a favor, play that again.
Whole thing or just the second part?
What's that?
The whole thing or just the second part?
The whole thing.
Okay.
So, okay. Such a nerd. But I am curious as to like what was going on in your mind when you're writing this riff. Like, do you remember like when you're working on this, like kind of what your mindset was at, or like what you were feeling as you were doing this, like when you were feeling out this riff?
Well, because I just wanted to, because there's a song I was listening to that I really like that starts out with like a riff. It's like, and it's like a pretty cool riff. And I was like, I want to write a song that starts out with a riff. And so I was trying to figure things out, and I wasn't getting anywhere. So I was like trying to play around with and I was just playing around with like power chords. And I'm pretty sure I thought that was like, well, these just 4 things are kind of simple.
And it sounds good too. But what I'm interested in is what made you feel like you're gravitating towards that that second half that was based in E.
I just kind of like the resolution kind of sound of like.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because it's really tense on that. Boo, 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 boo. And then when it goes back to the. So it's so cool. It's so cool that you figured this out on your own without even like thinking about this, because basically what you did, I mean, what number chord is E in the key of A major?
It's the. No.
Count up 5 notes.
It's the. Yeah.
Right? So you got.
It's the 5th.
Right. So it's the 5th chord, right? So the 5 chord is one of the 2 most tense chords in a key, right? The only other chord that's more tense than that would be the 7th chord because it's diminished, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why, you have a 1-4-5, and the reason why it's so effective is because it has that kind of tension kind of built into it. So if we took that imagine if you just kept playing that riff, right? In fact, just keep playing it for a second, just kind of like sit with it. The second half in particular, sorry.
Okay.
So how does it feel?
It feels more like grounded, kind of.
Interesting. I agree with that. But in the context of comparing it to the A, right? If you started on A and then you just stayed on this E section, right? It would just continue to what? I don't want to tell you. I want you to tell me. Like start with A and then go to E and then stay on E.
don't know. I just get bored.
I saw it in your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? It's kind of like, this needs to go somewhere. Did you feel any kind of tension at all? What I mean by tension is not like nervousness, but more like begging for resolution.
Yeah, in the beginning part, because just ending like on this, it was kind of like,
Right.
but then it goes to this like steady spot. So I thought that was more of resolution, and then to like bring it back to the higher portion, like more tense. The beginning part to me was more tense. Like,
yeah. Well, what's cool is that like you're going in between tense notes and more consonant notes. So these terms are known as consonance and dissonance. So I feel like we've talked about dissonance a little bit, and dissonance is stuff that how do I put it? It's unstable. That's basically what it sounds. It doesn't necessarily have to sound ugly. It just sounds unstable. So like, for example, to accentuate this for a second, if we go to an A major, and then go to an E7. Try that out.
which ones?
So an A major chord. And do you know this shape, like an E dominant 7?
I know it in like the open.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's hear the relationship, the tension that builds between that one chord of A major and then the 5 chord of E7. Right.
Provides good contrast.
Like it sounds good.
Wait, what's the bar shape?
For which one? The
For
E7?
the E7.
So what I'm doing is, how do I explain this?
Oh, got it.
Okay.
This kind of sounds like something that you'd be playing on like a beach or something. It's kind of.
It's literally what I was just thinking. I was thinking like it's a ukulele.
Yeah.
Ukulele chord. Totally. And it sounds pretty, right? But there's an instability baked into that E7 chord. Well, in the context of this progression, I should add, there's an instability baked into this E7 chord in the context of this A major key. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Basically, the 5 chord is great for using 7 chords because the 5 chord is one of the most tense chords in context. So a 1, 4, 5, for example, right? We have our A major. This is home base, right? This feels safe. This feels nice. If we stay here too long, it's going to feel like Vanilla City, right? It's just going to be like, this is boring, right? And then we take a walk down the street to the 4 chord. I think I'll get the mail. I got the mail. Okay, that was a lot of excitement for me. Oh, a package is arriving. There's a hole in the box. I hope my thing's not broken. Let me get it back home. Oh, thank God it's not broken. Okay. Like, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? Do you feel that? I'll do it without storyline now.
Oh, but it was so fun.
Well, just so you can hear the relationship between the chords. right? So you hear that kind of upward, like,
Yeah.
and that's why understanding, you know, the use of these chords in context is really important. Again, just to kind of have it in your back pocket. I don't want you to necessarily like be consciously thinking about like, I have to write a riff that's a 1-4-5. No, not at all. I just want you to have it like on your palette, if that makes sense, and just have it there and just be like, okay, and you can go back to reference it because you've got a great riff right there that's literally outlining these two chords, the 1 and the 5 chord, and you did that naturally, which is awesome. You just felt it out and you just kind of like used your instincts about it, and you came up with this thing that just has this really cool natural sense of tension and resolution. I think it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I get excited about this stuff clearly, but it's so cool because it's like, this is where songs come from, you know. And understanding a bit of this music theory stuff, again, kind of, you can think of it as a roadmap. You don't necessarily have to follow the map everywhere you want to go. You can, you know, pull off to a different road and meander and explore and all that. And if you get lost, you still have the roadmap. You can just like go back, be like, oh, okay, let's go here. Anyway. So there it is. Hopefully that was helpful to you. As a songwriter myself, I always default to trusting my instincts when it comes to the songwriting process, and I'm a huge advocate of that. I recommend that everybody always adhere to that. However, there will be times where you hit that roadblock, right? Where you just feel like nothing's coming out and you're not sure where to take things. So having a little bit of music theory is kind of like a roadmap that you can kind of fall back on if you ever get lost. Thanks for watching. If you want to delve a little bit deeper and get some more tips on how to write lyrics and melodies and learn how to beat writer's block and just kind of cultivate inspiration in general, I've put together a series of 4 PDFs that you can grab for free. So you can find the link in the description below.